Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is another one of my no ghostwriter videos. Follow no_ghostwriter on Twitter and Instagram for 24/7 rap and hip hop talk. And be sure to like this video, leave a comment and subscribe if you like what I'm talking about today. So today I'm talking about whether or not Nicki Minaj was really blackballed from radio. And I'm also going to talk about what it means to be blackballed, what the impact of being blackballed from radio is on an artist in 2020, and historical examples of where blackballing has very much happened to artists, and it has been documented, acknowledged in the industry, and yet it's still possible for people to do it. So if you're interested in hearing more about that topic and having a discussion about that, then keep watching this video. So if you listen to the radio and you look at charts, you may have noticed two things about Nicki Minaj in recent years. First of all, that she's not played as often as she used to be on the radio. And in relation to her position on the charts, I'll be referring to the Billboard Hot 100, as that's the chart Nicki has the most entries on. At the time of recording this video, Nicki has 112 entries on the Billboard Hot 100, meaning that her, Lil Wayne, and Drake are the three rappers with the most Billboard Hot 100 entries in history. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how radio and radio play has a big impact on why these two things are happening to Nicki Minaj in her music. And I'm also going to talk about why that is and how people are able to do that. And just because I think it's important that we know that history will always repeat itself, and what may seem new now has actually happened before, I'm also going to give examples of rap history where people have had their songs blackballed from radio. So the first thing to make clear is how charts work and how radio impacts it. Now, back in the day, there was very straightforward ways for artists to make it on the chart. You would release a song and people would go out and buy your song. As people started to consume music in different ways, there became different metrics to use to chart how much an artist had sold. And pure sales is one particular metric that's used, and pure sales refers to how many actual copies of your album do people buy, whether that's physical or whether that's digital. Now, as an artist, Nicki is the highest selling female rapper, and the reason why she was able to do that is because Nicki has always dominated in pure sales of her music. Nicki's fan base are notorious for buying lots of copies of her work because they want to support her. And so Nicki has always had good sales and healthy pure sales, and she still currently has very healthy pure sales. But that isn't the only metric that goes into deciding a chart position. Chart positions are also decided by how many streams an artist has, and also by how many radio spins they have. So that's how many times their song was played on radio stations. What's interesting is that these three different methods, although there are different ways that people consume music, they're weighted slightly differently. And so certain things count more for points on the charts than other things. So pure sales will always count, but radio has a very big impact on where a song charts. And currently there are people who are questioning that and questioning why radio is so influential. But at the time of recording this video, that is the status quo. Radio is very impactful on how a song charts. So without radio, a song can peak on a chart and it can have a very high position because it's streamed a lot and it's bought a lot. But radio is what sustains songs at the top of a chart. If a song isn't played regularly on radio, it's very unlikely that it's gonna have enough chart points to constantly beat out all of the new songs that are arriving and all of the other songs that are being played in all the other ways that I talked about. So radio is really, really important to artists. Now, there are artists who have radio deals with their record labels. There is a whole bunch of practice that goes in. Some people refer to it as payola because there are incidents of where there is pay for play. That's a historical phenomenon and something that I will talk about more in other videos on my channel. So it's important that we understand how significant radio is. Now we can talk about blackballing. So blackballing is essentially where there is an internal industry push to reduce the impact that an artist has on the charts. But that also goes into who they can work with, who will work with them, who's going to align themselves with that person, and so on. So if you think about blacklisting, that's essentially what blackballing is, but it's within an industry. So it involves lots of people taking actions or turning a blind eye to how other people treat someone in order to result in a situation where that person has a difficult time sustaining their career. Now, I talked about Nicki being blackballed in the Nicki Hate Train video. I really recommend you check that video out. It's very important to talk about all of the different things that Nicki has gone through in the industry, all of the different people who have impacted and been involved with her blackballing. But Nicki has definitely been the victim of a concerted campaign within the industry to remove her from her position as the highest selling female rapper and to reduce and diminish her impact within the music industry. Again, for all of the reasons and my opinions on that, then check out the Nicki Hate Train video on my channel. Now, there have been incidents where other artists have been blackballed, and people like Janet Jackson are a great example, because Janet Jackson's blackballing after the Super Bowl shows just how significant an impact blackballing can have on somebody's career. Were it not for the fact that Janet Jackson is a fighter and more talented than anyone could ever suppress, it's really likely that she may still be in the position that she was in. And honestly, Janet's career, it recovered, but it took a serious hit after Nipplegate. And it just goes to show that it's really possible to have a big impact on somebody's career by blackballing them. Now, what's crazy about Nicki is that if you watch my Hate Train video, you can see that radio DJs and Nicki Minaj have constantly had something between them. Nicki has faced a lot of animosity from radio DJs, especially New York radio DJs. And one DJ even went so far as admitting that he had asked other DJs in New York to stop playing Nicki's music.
Alright, so yesterday The Breakfast Club played a snippet of the new Nicki Minaj freestyle Barbie Gone Bad, and after that they focused on the line where Nicki said that radio had already tried to blackball her, and we found out that Envy was one of those people, but he explained why. Let's take a look.
Nicki, I got mad love for you. I want to tell you something.
Really?
I'm telling you in front of the world. DJ Envy is the only DJ blackballing you. Envy, say what you said off the air.
I thought I was the only one that didn't play her record.
That's
I
right.
mean, I think every other DJ is playing her record, but
that's a shame. Y'all both from Queens.
That is whack, Envy.
That didn't explain anything. Alright, so I think Envy went on to say like Nicki threatened to run up on DJ Self or something like that, and he wasn't feeling that. Am I correct?
Yeah, it was something to that degree. It was something.
So sorry, that clip didn't give enough context. But yeah, is that justification for not playing her tracks on the radio then? What do you guys think?
I mean, when Envy, like when it all happened, I ain't gonna front. Like Nicki was kind of, when we see Soulja Boy go with it, like Nicki was kind of on that. Like, yo, nobody's giving me my appreciation. She felt like she had problems with DJ Self, because it was like a little back and forth with the whole Cardi shit prior. And then I think they rectified their situation, but at the time she was like, yeah, niggas will come down there or something. And Envy was like, yo, there's no way possible we can condone anything happen. If you got your problems, cool, but nobody should be talking about getting physical on no level. So with that being said, I'm not playing a record and no other DJ should. But I didn't know that he didn't know that they fixed their situation.
I'm rocking with DJ Envy with this, man. Listen, I respect the team player in him for that. Yo, if you threaten my mans, we all in the same umbrella. Listen, out of solidarity, I'm not playing a record. This wasn't a nationwide blackball. Of course, I'm not gonna lie, the Breakfast Club is in a lot of markets, so you could probably feel like it is.
Yeah.
But nah, you threatening my guy, we under the same umbrella. Like, DJs do stick together, or they should.
Right.
Because, you know, like, at least when it comes to the business of DJing, even just outside of being on the radio, if you have one nigga that's going against the grain or lowballing, everybody fucks the whole game up. So y'all gotta stick together somewhat. So I don't mind Envy saying for what you, and I remember the time when she was talking myself.
Yeah, it got pretty
she was on some like thug shit. Like, yo, listen, I get the booty, you know what I mean? Kind of like that. Like, and I'm not surprised that he stopped playing her record, because he said that he was gonna stop. But I didn't know that him, DJ Self and Nicki Minaj, they're now cool.
Well, I don't know if they're cool, but
they rectify whatever
they squash whatever issues they have.
Yeah, you probably are a little embarrassed when you're like, damn, bro, I stopped playing the record for you. DJ Self should let DJ Envy know. But as far as blackballing and music, and when it comes to Nicki, do I believe there's someone of a blackball? Absolutely.
So this shows that there are people who are out there who have negative feelings towards Nicki Minaj and want to use their position as a professional within the music industry to limit Nicki's success and impact. Now, it's important here that I make clear that industry support and fan support are two different things. Now, I talked on my channel about when Nicki went #1 with Say So, and also when Nicki went #1 with Trollz. For both of these songs, the Barb's impact was huge in actually pushing them to #1. And so these songs are a really great example of why fan support is totally different to radio support. So you cannot have radio support and have massive fan support. And that fan support is why Nicki is able to peak so high on the charts. But the lack of radio support is why she isn't sticking in the same way as she used to when she was being played on radio regularly. So it's nothing to do with the quality of the music or the quality of the artist, but it's actually a lot to do about internal industry politics. And again, if you want to understand why on earth people would be blackballing Nicki Minaj, then check out my Nicki Hate Train video. I think you'll find it really interesting. So in summary, has Nicki Minaj really been blackballed from radio? Yes. If you look at Nicki's radio play spins and the points that she has for radio on her recent songs, she has barely any radio audience. Nicki Minaj is not being played on the radio like she used to be. And there's different reasons for that, but ultimately I think it has to do with the big industry push there was to erase her. I think that there's definitely a massive discrepancy to the love that Nicki's music gets shown, particularly on social media, but also on TikTok. TikTok is currently one of the biggest social platforms we have in the world, and every week Nicki Minaj is trending on TikTok. Somebody is trending using her music. Nicki Minaj is constantly a topic on TikTok, and her recent verse on Kanye West's New Body, which wasn't released, went massively viral on not only TikTok but Instagram and Twitter. So in terms of Nicki's social impact with her music, that hasn't changed, and in fact it's increased because Nicki is a legend in the industry. So Nicki's impact is felt culturally, but it's only in this space, this radio chart position nexus, that Nicki doesn't seem to have quote unquote impact. But she does have impact because when the people get to decide, Nicki's #1, but when the industry decides, things aren't quite the same. And I think it's worthwhile us thinking about things like the Nicki Hate Train and actually understanding industry politics and how they work in order to get a picture of why it's possible for artists to be treated like that. And again, I want to remind you, this isn't baseless conspiracy. Not only has Nicki herself repeatedly acknowledged the blackballing that she's had and faced with radio DJs, but she's also not alone. There are other artists who have been treated like this.
By the mid-90s, West Coast artists grew impatient with the New York bias against their work.
That we be gangster rap. Mercedes-Benz built the car. I'm driving one. He ain't gonna get mad at me for driving it, is he? So what, you started it. I'ma finish it. Period.
With Dr. Dre's The Chronic, an entire coast demanded respect.
Bow Down was the #1 motherfucking record in the country. And we didn't have no spins on East Coast radio station.
But as West Coast record sales soared, the East Coast felt something they had never felt before: jealousy.
So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. I wanted to talk about whether or not it's possible for Nicki Minaj to have been blackballed on radio, because it's something her fans talk about all the time and are very passionate about. And it's also something that can give you some extra context to understand how charts work and how political the music industry is. Remember, popularity is not the same thing as skill, which is something that Nicki has said before. Just because an artist seems popular doesn't mean that they're a better artist than an artist that doesn't get as many radio plays. There are plenty of artists out here working who don't get played on radio the same as other artists, but they are still ridiculously talented. So as fans, we need to make sure that we care more about the music than we do the chart positions. Chart positions are ridiculously unreliable for showing us how much social and cultural impact an artist has and how much longevity their music has for real people, not just a chart. And Nicki Minaj is a really good example of where industry politics and radio messing with people's perceptions of music is really a big problem for our current music listenership. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please comment below, what do you think? Have you noticed Nicki not being played on radio? And do you think that this is because of the Nicki hate train? Do you think it's for another reason? I think it's also important to remember that radio is not the same thing as fans requesting songs. Radio stations will have songs that they play on rotation. There will be a whole bunch of things that go into which songs get played and which don't. And very little does it have anything to do with what the fans want to hear. A really good example of that is that frequently Nicki's fans will request her music to radio stations and find themselves getting ignored or blocked. And that's not professional, but that goes to show that there are definitely radio stations who intentionally and deliberately don't play Nicki Minaj. And if it's not the entire station, then it's DJs within it. There's just enough evidence now that shows us that this is a thing, and there's enough evidence that shows us Nicki isn't alone. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Comment below what you think about Nicki being blackballed from radio. Have you noticed Nicki not being played on radio as much as before? And why do you think that is? I would love to hear your thoughts. And also, we have to remember that as fans, we have to prioritize the music. It's all about the music, you guys. Charts are great, and having proof of how much you supported your artist on the chart is great, but it's always possible that as fans you aren't enough because you need radio play, you need so many other things to stay consistent on the charts. And fans shouldn't be hard on themselves, they shouldn't be disappointed, and they shouldn't feel like their favorite artist is going anywhere. Artists will still make music with or without Billboard. It's not a big deal. It's just a great celebration when fans are able to come together, but it doesn't have to happen all the time. And especially when an artist doesn't have radio play, fans, you need to be easier on yourselves. Show love to the artist and their music in all of the different ways that you've got. You can send them a DM, you can tweet them, you can even make a YouTube video about how much you love their music, like I do. But focus on the music, guys, honestly. It'd be so much better for you, for your mental health, and also for the mental health of the artists that we love so much. It's important that we give artists the space that they need to celebrate, but it's also important that we recognize that there's so much industry politics that they have to deal with, and everything looks simpler to us as fans because we're not in it. I would love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe and follow me on no_ghostwriter on Twitter and Instagram for 24/7 rap and hip hop talk. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.